Hey there friends, and welcome back to the channel. It's your mate here with the long-awaited fishing forecast for the beautiful Sydney region, covering the week from the 8th of December to the 14th of December 2025. Now listen up, because this isn't just any week. We are looking at a fantastic combination of rising water temperatures, stable summer weather patterns, and a very interesting moon phase that could make for some truly memorable sessions on the water. Are the kingfish finally going to swarm the headlands in big numbers? I've done the research, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to be, when to be there, and what to tie on the end of your line. Let's get into it. This week is shaping up to be a cracker, friends. The water is warming up nicely, hitting that magic number that really gets our prime summer species fired up and ready to feed aggressively. We're talking about an absolute smorgasbord of opportunities. First up, let's talk about the undisputed king of Sydney Harbour, the yellowtail kingfish. Friends, December is prime time. The warmer currents are pushing baitfish right into our estuaries and along the coast, and these green-backed brawlers are right on their tails. And this week you're going to want to focus on areas with structure and current. Think about the deeper channel markers, the rocky headlands like North Head and South Head, and any significant reef systems. My tip is to pay close attention to the tide changes. That half hour on either side of the high tide can be electric. For tackle, you can't go past a robust setup. A 7-foot spin rod rated for at least 15 kilos, matched with a quality reel spooled with 50-pound braid, is a must. The number one choice for bait is a live squid, no question. If you can get them, they are kingfish candy. Otherwise, live yellowtail or slimy mackerel are fantastic options. For those of you who love throwing lures, this is your time to shine. Big, frantic surface poppers and stick baits worked aggressively across the surface will absolutely get monster strikes, especially at dawn. Next, let's get back to basics with a beloved Aussie classic, the dusky flathead. With water temperatures climbing, these masters of camouflage are moving out of the deeper channels and onto the shallow, sandy flats to hunt. This is fantastic news for lure and bait anglers alike. You should be looking for sand flats adjacent to weed beds or drop-offs. Think areas like the upper reaches of Middle Harbour, the sand flats around Gladesville, or the expansive flats in Botany Bay. They'll be lying in wait, ready to ambush any baitfish that swims past. For this kind of fishing, I love a light 7-foot spin rod, around 2 to 4 kilos, with a 10 or 12-pound leader. The absolute killer technique is slowly hopping soft plastics along the bottom. My go-to would be a 3 to 5-inch paddle tail or curl tail plastic in a natural baitfish colour. If you're a bait fisher, a live poddy mullet or a fresh strip of pilchard drifted along the bottom is almost guaranteed to get you a bite. The key is to keep your bait moving slowly along the bottom to cover ground and find where the fish are lying. Finally, let's talk about the cunning bream. These guys are a year-round target, but in early summer they really start to feed actively on the abundant prawns and baitfish. This week, they will be holding tight to structure, using it as an ambush point. Your mission is to target them around boat moorings, oyster leases, bridge pylons, and rocky shorelines. The Parramatta and Lane Cove rivers are full of this kind of structure. My advice is to be stealthy. Bream can be very spooky, so long casts and light lines are the way to go. A super light 1 to 3 kilo rod with a 6-pound leader is perfect. When it comes to what's on the menu, you have options. Small, lightly weighted soft plastics that imitate a shrimp or baitfish are incredibly effective when cast right up against the structure and allowed to sink naturally. For the bait anglers, you can't beat a peeled prawn or a bit of bread presented with minimal weight. The morning high tide is often the prime time to chase them around this kind of structure. All right, friends, let's break down the science behind the forecast. The weather this week looks magnificent for fishing. We're expecting daytime air temperatures to sit in the high 20s Celsius, with overnight lows around 18 degrees. More importantly, the barometric pressure looks to be relatively stable for most of the week, with no major fronts predicted. That stability is exactly what we want. It keeps the fish in a comfortable and consistent feeding pattern. We can expect some classic summer northeasterly winds to pick up in the afternoons, so plan to fish sheltered southern shorelines if you're in a small boat. The water temperature is the real headline here. The sea surface temp is hovering around that magical 21 to 22 degrees Celsius mark. This is the trigger that tells summer species it's time to feast. It boosts their metabolism and makes them far more aggressive and willing to chase down a bait or lure. This is why species like kingfish and flathead become so much more active in the shallower parts of the estuaries. Now let's talk about the moon. For the entire forecast period from the 8th to the 14th of December, we will be in a waning gibbous phase. We are coming off a full moon on the 4th of December and heading towards the third quarter on the 11th. In my experience, this post-full moon period can be incredibly productive. The nighttime light is still bright, encouraging nocturnal feeders, and the major solunar bite times around moonrise and moonset can be red hot. Keep an eye on your tide charts and try to line up a tide change with a major bite time. Overall, the biological activity of the fish is high. The summer patterns are well and truly kicking in. The bait is thick in the harbours and estuaries, and the predators are right behind them. This is a time of hunting and aggressive feeding before the full heat of summer sets in. It's one of the best weeks of the year to be on the water. So let's put it all together in a day-by-day forecast. On Monday, the 8th of December, calling the bite excellent. The weather is stable, the water is warm, and the fish will be actively feeding after the full moon. Tuesday, the 9th, and Wednesday, the 10th, also get an excellent rating. The conditions remain absolutely prime. Take advantage of the light morning winds to hit your favorite spots. Thursday, the 11th, marks the third quarter moon, and rating this day as very good. The change in moon phase can sometimes trigger a fantastic bite, especially around the tide changes. Friday, the 12th, continues the very good streak. The weather is holding steady and the fish should still be on the chew. Keep an eye on the afternoon sea breeze. For the weekend, Saturday, the 13th, and Sunday, the 14th, giving a good to very good rating. There is a slight chance of a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm developing, which is very typical for this time of year. If a storm does roll in the period just before it can trigger an insane bite, but please friends, always keep one eye on the sky and be safe. Head for shore long before the storm hits. So there you have it, my friends, the complete breakdown for a massive week of fishing ahead in Sydney. The conditions are lining up to be absolutely spectacular. I hope this forecast helps you get out there and onto some fish of a lifetime. As always, I wish you nothing but tight lines and screaming reels. Get out there, be safe, and enjoy the incredible fishing we have right on our doorstep. Please, if you found this helpful, give the video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And now I want to hear from you. What are your plans for the week? What species are you going to be chasing? Drop a comment below and let's chat. Until next time, tight lines.